What's going on, everybody? James here, ReToptionAgency.com. 21 years selling on eBay. I get questions all the time about my storage system and how do I know where items are. And so I figured today I'm going to make a video just based on that. I'm going to show you what I've done, what I'm doing, where it's going. And you can take any tips you wish from the video for your system, your setup. Now, if you're new to selling on eBay, there's a custom SKU. When you list an item, there's a spot for custom SKU. In that custom SKU, you can put anything you want. What you want to do is name a tote or a box, a certain number. I would suggest like a letter number type of system, if you're going to eventually grow. And put that number in there. Start with T1. And then write T1 on that tote, box, whatever it is, and put the item in there as you list it. That is the easiest way to organize your items and not lose them, know exactly where they are. Now we're going to get into major details because that's the simplest way to do it for the very beginner. Custom SKU, name a tote, put the item in the tote, put that name of the tote in the custom SKU spot. Simple, easy. Times that by hundreds of boxes, and you got yourself a system. Now, if you want to get more detailed. So I built these shelves with wood, picked up at Lowe's, and each shelf has a number. So you can see this is shelf 29. And so in the custom SKU, anything on this row is labeled SH29. It actually starts, I actually started it right here. So SH1 is right there, and it goes down, around, and wraps all the way around and underneath my shipping area. This I was using for something else, storage or something. Then when I moved it, one thing you got to remember, if you're always growing, your systems are always going to change. So never be locked into something, because there could always be, always be some kind of influence that's going to change your system, whether that's growing, whether that's changing from totes to boxes of different sizes, depending on what you can get for free or for cheap, or there's many variables that could change your system. Growth is going to be the biggest one. So when these came open that I could store stuff on, I just went ahead and picked a random number high, 901, so that's shelf 902, shelf 903. So that's why those are 900s, because I originally started here. So every shelf in my custom SKU spot is labeled SH and whatever the number is on said shelf. 54, wraps around here, comes around here. And I'm not really using those right now except for blank reusable cases and stuff for broken cases. But so that is a basic shelf system. I personally just like the media on these. Anything else would be bulky and stick out, like if you put hats on them. I mean, you could, if you get wider shelves, you could put a row of hats here, squish together. So that, there's many different ways you could do things. If you have the room, you could make them longer and, like, say, take that one out and you have a box there with stuff sitting out farther. So there's always keep, an eye open to how you can expand, because especially if you have a limited space. I'm very lucky. I have the whole basement. If you have limited space, you want to use every nook and cranny you can. And that's where I'm at now. I am switching over to make sure I can use every nook and cranny, because as of right now, I've got 43,000 items, but I have over 1 million items sitting in storage not listed. Since I've been doing this 21 years, I used to always, and still do, buy in bulk. So I would list the cherry stuff and make my money back. And by the next time I get another lot of stuff in, I haven't finished the previous lot, so it goes in storage out of the way. And that's how it grew over the 21 years to 5 storage areas filled with paid off product. And that was the beauty of the way I did my system, is everything I list now that I have in storage is 100% profit. It's paid for and makes life a lot easier. Now, that may not be for everybody. It was a rough start, so I wouldn't suggest that to everybody unless you know what you're doing and do it slow. But next up, we're going to go into totes. Now, for me, we have the Goodwill bins in the area, and you can get totes for $1 a piece. So when I started the system, you would grab dollar totes at the bins and put them on shelves, name the, bins, and grow from there. So we started with the T1s, which now wrap down here on top, and they're on top all the way around until it gets over into my west wing, if you will. And then we've got clear tote, because I originally was grabbing clear totes at the bins, so I called them clear totes, being clever and all. So that morphed into CT, CT2, CT3. So in the SKU area, I put CT2, CT3, CT4, CT5, depending on where it goes. So that is a nice cheap way to grow your system if you don't want to spend, X amount on boxes like you see over there. But if you're working with limited space, I would suggest you find boxes that fit into your shelving perfectly, halfway, and find 2 boxes that, measure it out. Make sure, if you got room, come out. Like I could come out even farther with whatever I put here if I wanted to, because I have enough room to walk through. So there's a lot of space left wide open down here. It may look packed to you, but what I see is a lot of wasted space. So that's where I am at now. I am transitioning into utilizing that wasted space. And that includes, something as simple as these voids right here. I mean, if you take these voids and add them up on every shelf, that's a lot of space. If you use those boxes, put them side by side, there's like that much room in between them. So that's a nice way to utilize that space. So, depending on where you're at with your business, if you're just starting out, you may start with the dollar totes and grow from there. Next up, I've been using these forever, and I use them for media, also CDs and cassettes. And I would buy these at Target for like $7.99 when they were on sale. $7.99 would get me like 3 things. If you have a Goodwill bins, you can find them every once in a while at those places too. I buy them there in parts and pieces because sometimes the weight of the CDs can crush the bottom ones. As you can see, some of these drawers, well, not that one, but some of these drawers over here are sticking out. It's because the weight of it's crushing it. So that's the only downfall with these going this high with that much weight up at the top, is it does crush the bottoms. But like I said, I get some pieces over at the bins, and then I just replace them when need be. It's like right here on this stack, you can see it's short one because it totally crushed one, and I couldn't get the drawer back in, so the drawer's like sitting there on the floor. So still a work in progress to get that one changed out. I haven't even messed with it. Had no need to anytime soon. Then you have like the little banker boxes, the little file boxes. Those are nice to use if you have limited space. And as you can see here, and this is one thing I'm changing soon too, is I have a lot of wasted space up there. That space can be, ideal for more product. So I have a lot of wasted space down here, and that's where my transition is now, is going to be utilizing all that space. So as we go on this way, have more of the free totes. And like I've said before in a past video, this is like the cheap system. These totes cost me $1 a piece at the bins. I paid for 1 shelving unit there. I paid for 1 shelving unit there. And I found these metal bars for free. So I made a little bridge with these metal bars, and those hold my totes just fine there. But as you can see, there's a lot of wasted space. So that system is being changed over time. It's more of a evolution. Always look at your storage as an evolution. I guess is a good word for it. Evolution on your growth. So this is a nice, cheap alternative to storing your items, is something like this. And then like you can see here, I was utilizing the extra space I had on that shelf with some 45 boxes that hold 45 records. So all that's going to be changing. I'll find perfect size boxes that'll fit 3 across there and have no wasted space. At one time, I had thought about using just file cabinets because they're nice and snug against each other. But when you really think about it, I don't know, they're not very, I guess they are. I guess it depends on what you're putting in there. They could work, especially if you get them for free. And, you know, ain't going to cost you nothing. There's a pain in the butt to move because they're so big. But, yeah, all these are going to be redone. As you can see, we got some falling over there and what have you and whatnot. So we're working on that whole system now. As you can see, I'm converting the totes over to boxes, as I said before, to save space or to utilize space. Another system I enjoy are these metal shelves. And I pick these up at the bins all the time. And they fit perfect. A little file box, the banker boxes for clothes. A nice little way there. When it comes to clothes like this, there's people out there who will put their clothes in. Vern just took off for some reason. I don't know why. Will put their clothes in plastic bags and number each bag. You can do that if you want, but that's a lot of waste. I prefer just to have it like this. You pull it out, there it is. Then you put it in the poly bag and mail it. When you put it in a plastic bag, first off, you're throwing more plastic into the environment that doesn't need to be there. Second off, if you're labeling each one a number, you have to keep that organized. That's a lot of time. Could you imagine if, you know, that box is half empty, and you have to start condensing them all? You know, that would waste a lot of time. If you want to list a lot of items and grow your business, time is the biggest factor, and you don't want to waste time. Time and space are the two biggest waste of things there are when people run in their business. And doing that kind of number system wastes a lot of time when it comes to organizing. Some might argue that it saves time when you're pulling, but really, no. If you do it right, I mean, if you watch my videos, you know, when I come to pull a shirt, I mean, look at that. It's pretty easy. If I sold a pink Tommy Hilfigers sweatshirt, I know exactly where that's going to be. If that box was all black shirts, that might take a minute. But if you watch what you're doing and do it in a way that, you know, pulling it and shipping it's going to be quick and fast, I recommend this route. Also, if you do these shelves, the one mistake I made to save shelving units so I can make more shelves was I eliminated the back one. And that will collapse it over time because there's not enough structure there, and it does collapse over time. So if you do that, I recommend putting the back one in, and it'll hold it a lot quicker, you know, a lot sturdier. Ooh, excuse me. But as you can see here, wasted space. Wasted space, wasted space. So that's why we're going to the all boxes. And see here, I could come out another good 6 inches and still be fine there. So we'll eventually get there, but I don't have to get there right now. Like right here, as you can see, like I've got a lot of space in here I could utilize on the next round of growth, if you will. So this is all going to be changed out to new shelving and boxes also. That's probably my messiest part in here right now. And if you remember the old video, this was the cheap way I had set up with the bars and stuff. Straddling shelving units, where I'm changing over now to shelving units with boxes. Eliminating these, because these kind of waste space. So that's what I am doing here. As you can see, nice and clean. And here too, in the future, if I need to, I've got a good amount of 6 inches. I could probably just get a 6-inch longer box and replace these boxes with longer boxes, if you will. So that's a way in the future way to go if need be. So where'd he go, girl? What did you go upstairs for? All right, now we're going into the room I am working on right at the moment. I pulled this stuff out. It's going into storage, stuff not listed. So this room has been many things over the years. So now it's evolving into the new, the more convenient storage area. This whole wall used to be those metal shelves. As you can see down there, collapsed. This whole thing collapsed. So now I am transitioning over to the shelves with the boxing systems in here. And we're going to be a little tight here. So I'm going to see how that works. But I can move these over 5-6 inches if I need a little bit more space on this side. So yeah, I have a lot of space in here that I can utilize right now for clothing and what have you. So we're working on that. So like I still have this sitting around, so I'm using that as of right now, but that will probably change out into one of these shelves also and eliminate these. That'll be another future evolution when I need more space. So always look at it as an evolution, and you can always utilize your space better. Especially with me on these, like you can barely fit 3 on these. So I'm ordering some boxes that are not as wide, and those are going to be the centerpieces on these shelves. So I'll have 3 boxes per shelf. I got a little bit of spot at the top, so if I have things that stick out, it'll be no big deal. Like 3 totes do not fit in here very easily, so it's a pain in the butt to pull them out. So that's why you only see 2 in some of these. And again, a lot of wasted space. So here's another shelving units with those metal shelves that I am taking down and rebuilding with backs because they don't have backs. So the whole thing is kind of leaning, as you can see right there. So that's a project that I'm in the middle of. And now that whole wall. So, and then of course more of these. When I first started, I was, 21 years ago, I was basically selling all media. So I went with these and building the shelves. And at that time too, in here I had, if you go into a record store and you flip through CD bins, I had those metal CD bins in here because I would buy out music stores. If you're not familiar with my story, for 9 years I worked in a music store. And in year 2000 I quit, or 2001 I quit. And that's when I started my eBay business. And then a year after I started my eBay business, the music store I worked in was closing, Warehouse Music, which used to be a Blockbuster Music. So I started buying out record stores as they were closing in the early 2000s. So I had a lot of media. And so when I had so much media that those metal shelves that you flip through were not space efficient anymore, I went into these. And that was an evolution. So everything's always going to be an evolution. There's never nothing permanent. If you are building a business and you want to keep building it over the years, it will always change. And you always look at new ideas, new ways of doing things to grow, to make that change. So that is where I am at right now. I hope you get some little nuggets out of this for your system. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And what I'm doing too is like little areas, like, see, if I put this shelf up to here, I'm going to have a nice big void back here. So what I decided to do is just start it a little bit over. And then guess what? I can put these kind of shelves in here, these drawers. So now I've got, instead of that being a void area, I gave up that little bit of space to gain that much space. And not just that, I put another shelf here, and I've got wasted space here. So I could actually put some of these type of shelves over there too, so they could come out both ways. So a future growth when needed. So I think that's going to be it. As you can tell, I utilize all the way to the ceiling here. That is the problem over here when I've got these shelves, is I got a lot of wasted space up at the top. But that will be future growth if need be. If I have to, I can buy another set of these and maybe just use one on each one. And then that'll give me, you know, I might be able to put those banker boxes up on the very top there. So always room for growth. Always keep an eye out for empty voids, empty spaces when you need to grow. And always keep an eye out for new ideas, new shelving units, new boxes, containers that you come across. Just always keep an open eye, because you never know what something might lead to. Just like me showing you those bars I got for free that go in between 2 shelving units and cost you nothing to store 10 totes. So I think that will be all for this video. So if you like my storage and stuff, make sure you subscribe and everything, because I put out videos consistently of me pulling product and what I sell. I sell pretty common basic items that pretty much anybody can find, and make a pretty good living at it. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.